What is good, y'all? Xeno 2.0 here. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC Wave 2 has been out for a hot minute now, and I think it's good time to go over everything that we got within it. A little review, let's get right to it. Starting with the hero that we got for this DLC, the Noponic Champion and Artificial Blade, Ino. A defender who stays on the attack while evading enemy hits, revealing their true power after being KO'd. Ino is a character who wants to get aggro, and as you can see, she's evading, so that means she is a dodge tank. This class is all based on getting the aggro and evading attacks, and her skills actually are sort of suited for her game plan. This is a character who I find could be very useful and potentially maybe one of the better dodge characters in the game. Ino's story begins with her fighting against two Arachnos defending Nopon travelers. Mio and the gang realize this and the battle begins. After the battle is over, Ino is in search of ether cylinders. These cylinders help Ino stay powered up and strong. The gang goes to ether cylinder and see how unique she is. They're very shocked the fact that she's even able to consume such ether, and that's when we learn that she is an artificial blade. The gang stops and thinks, wait a minute, why did you just consume the ether? And we learn that she is an artificial blade made by Grandmaster Pawn Uzu. And I love this part because when she reveals that she's an artificial blade, you know, the whole gang is looking at her like, you mean like our weapons? Like these blades? You know, the ones that we fight with? And I found this so funny because if you're a Xenoblade fan, the word blade means so many different things, right? Starting from X to 2 and even in 3. And I find it so funny how even in the DLC for Elma in DLC 2, they reference that how blade in her world means something completely different in Xenoblade 2's world, and it's the same thing going on here from 2 to 3. So I find that so funny that it's always the next one with a completely different meaning, and they're always like, huh? The gang's still looking at her pretty confused, Tyon actually being the initiator of this whole conversation. However, Ino goes to talk about that she's all about the peace and harmony for the Nopon race. So I find this really cool. I like how they're constantly bringing in this, you know, that she's the protector, the keeper, the chosen one for the Nopons, you know? And I do love the charm of this character because Ino, I'll say it, is very different. I do think there is comic relief in Xenoblade Chronicles 3's story, but she's more of just a cutesy, very gullible character, and I like that. Senna kind of fulfills that role too, but this is very similar to something that we can get in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So her charm, I really do enjoy this. This is when we learn something interesting, how she says she can't get in any affairs with humans. As far as, I guess, conflict, I have no idea if this is like, if Nopons are being attacked by humans, what's gonna happen? Can she step in? Very interesting, and I think it might kind of go with what I believe happens in the story of 3, where the Nopons are kind of like not involved. They don't even have, I believe they're called the Irises, they don't even have a timer. So this is very interesting. I like the roles of Nopons are just so different in this game. I'm surprised that you know, any of like the descendants of Toras, if this is what they are that made Ino like Uzu, never thought of just creating an army of artificial blades, you know, to fight against Mobius, but or help in the cause of all this, with whether they were Kavesi or the Agnian side of things. Very interesting. That's something I did think about. Noah, seeing her, scans her and now sees that she has a blade. Xenoblade Chronicles 3's version of the blade, which is their weapon. So able to scan and use it, and he shows that, you know, hey, like, look, I could use your weapon. And what is so cool is that what Ino sees in Noah is that, hey, you are the driver of me. Like, you would be called my driver. And this is all referencing the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 world of the driver and blade bond. Now this is so sick. And now there's another word that another universe does not know, and that's the word driver, which was also brought up in the DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So I love this. This is so funny. It's all like, you know, just they keep on going with that trope, and I hope they do because it's so fucking hilarious. Now on to the end of her Ascension quest, we see something that is so sick to me. It's the bond between blade and driver. Now obviously it's not said, but we can get that based off what we see in Torna, where we see the driver and blade fight side by side. Now I think this is so sick because it shows that this is the official way to go about a battle in the universe with a blade and a driver. Now what's also so cool about this, we see their affinity increase where they glow. And it's so sick because that means the bond is strong. So the Xenoblade 2 references here are so awesome. Not just that, we hear some good Xenoblade 2 soundtrack that came with this DLC. However, there is one thing I do wish that they kept, is that if you have her as a hero, why can't we just keep the music going for her? That's one thing I hope they patch in. However, the DLC story based off Ino's story is so awesome. I do enjoy this. The two references, very subtle but still very cool. Her charm, her character, and all is just so nice to me. At first, I did find her to look very creepy and scary, but over time, she really grew on me, and she's one of my favorite characters in this game, believe it or not. Now, when it comes to setuping her class, I'm not going to go too in depth, as I'm sure everybody pretty much knows how to use this class or what's a very efficient way to use this class and why. I'm just going to go a little bit into detail, and I'll show you guys right here. I have Tri-Slash, Shield Bash, Dual Flash, Soaring Tempest, Dazzling Illusion, and Quick Draw. And then for her talent, I have Gemini Strike, as it's guaranteed evasion. And something you really are going to love about this class being an evasion class is she has a skill that when she evades, it actually recharges her arts. So having something like Quick Draw allow the class to pretty much constantly recharge their arts. And since it is a Agni inside, canceling an evasion, all that stuff is going to go towards your arts, and you're going to get them a lot quicker than usual. So when it comes to this class, the accessories I have is the Ovis Rings. The Ovis Rings are very good. It is the max percentage agility accessory you can get in the game currently. And one thing I really do enjoy having on this class as well is Chaotic Memory. Now, Chaotic Memory allows for attacks to not be blocked or evaded, and this can actually help you towards that combo that you want to do, which is, you know, your break, topple, and launch that you're going for with the arts that you have. But what's also very good about this is that it kind of allows you to constantly land hits, and that's what you want to do as a tank, to constantly gain the aggro. And if you're constantly doing combos on them, the chances of them aggroing you is very high. So them evading is something that you don't ever want to happen. And Dazzling Illusion also helps, obviously, with the increase in aggro. So this is very good. This is a combo I like going for. And having all that combined with, you know, having her skill that gives you 10% recharge. She's a character that could constantly get that going, you know, where she can constantly spam arts. I don't know if I would say she's necessarily better than Mio's class. But what's really good about this class is the break art, which is pretty much everywhere. It's not a positional, so she can just constantly just stay stationary. If you want to use that accessory, you can. Like, there's many ways you can go about this, and if you're constantly getting, you know, Glittering Melody, you can constantly spam arts, right? And where there's an accessory where the more arts you use, the higher evasion you get. So there's there's many ways to play this class that I really do enjoy. It seems like she's one of those classes that kind of allows you to do that. So yeah, this is a good way to play with the class of Enos. Now onwards to challenge mode. Now I will say this challenge mode was actually pretty fun to me. I did pretty much try to go through most of challenge mode without using Lucky 7, obviously, because we all know how strong Lucky 7 is, and I was still able to get S ranks regardless. There is one mission, I think it was called Men of the Sea, where I keep on getting an A, and that's because it's all based off Soul Hacker, so you have to kind of create a setup where you can constantly stay alive, heal up, and, you know, manage to complete the challenge. I cannot get that to S rank. I should try more, and I'll definitely make a post on that whenever I do, if I even try to go for it. But that's the one challenge I couldn't beat on very hard, by the way, with S rank. And all of them are pretty fun, very unique, using the assets of the game, of course, and just making them a lot harder. And I enjoy that because I like to see where challenge mode kind of like pushes the game as far as its meta and combat, you know. So it's really cool, and I really enjoyed everything about this DLC. I will say this, the No Pawn Sage gave me references to X. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just gonna say that, right? But I do think it's very cool how they, you know, pretty much, you know, just made everything difficult. My favorite one so far was the last one. That was the one I needed to use Lucky 7, I will say that, because it was very difficult. And the one where it was the heroes, where it was all the heroes that you have to fight against, I needed to use Lucky 7. Like, I was getting far, and then I would die, and I'm like, alright, I don't know what to do, right? And Lucky 7 just carries and a Signifer, and the job well done, right? And it's really fun, right? Especially when you have it on, I believe it's, what's his name? The Blaze class, the Flame Guys class. I forgot his name, man, it's crazy. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed DLC. I can't wait for DLC 3, believe it or not. This is the second one, which should have been the first one, but this is the second one, and 3. And I believe there was already a leak of the character. I didn't see them yet, and I'm hoping that they bring something crazy, fun, and new to the table. But yeah, Now, overall, what I must say with this DLC, so let's get over challenge mode, awesome. But on to Eno. Something about Eno that really caught my eye that I was kind of upset about was the Eno swap, right? So the Eno swap only stays within Eno. Now, I don't know if this confirmed, like based off how you level up the things in Eno swap, that it transfers over to the character. I don't believe that's how it works. It's all based off the level of the class, of course, right? But I was kind of hoping that, you know, they would do something special and like maybe we get a whole separate skill tree on top of everything that we already have in the game. Now I thought that would have been super cool. A lot of people say, "Oh, I wish we could have been just played as Eno," and I'm like, not really, because I feel like there's a lot of customization when you play as the main cast. I just would have liked them to add something with the Eno swap, and obviously if you level it up on one character, it goes to every character. But it is what it is. That's one thing I will say. And another thing I will say is her gimmick of when she dies, she gets stronger on a dodge tank. I don't know how that, you know, came across, you know, but it kind of goes in hand with like the no pawn having this wacky gimmick to them, you know, except for two, obviously, where she was pretty much awesome. Cutie Pie was just awesome. But obviously, this isn't Xenoblade Chronicles 2, so we can't compare it that much to it. So, yeah. However, the DLC was good. All in all, I enjoyed this. I cannot wait for the next one. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. More Xenoblade content coming your way. Have a good one, y'all. Cheers.